Hey everybody, welcome back into Hog Heaven. Really cool segment coming up here. I know I live in Texas my whole life, and there's that time of the summer where you just can't escape that unbearable heat. The only way to do it is to just jump into that cool, crisp, relaxing swimming pool. And if you own a pool, if you run a pool, I've got someone here with me today who would probably be of interest to you. Tangular Yong runs America's Swimming Pool in Arlington. Tangular, welcome into the program.
Thank you so much.
It's absolutely our pleasure. And tell us a little bit about how you got into the swimming pool industry, because it is relaxing for sure for a good 6 months here in Texas.
It is definitely relaxing. Well, it's an interesting story because I was in corporate America for over 20 years, and some things changed in corporate America, and I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship, and in particularly franchising. So worked with some professionals, worked with some brokers, and ASP, or America's Swimming Pool Company, was just the way to go. I was very, very impressed with the business model, the leadership team, the support, the training, and what better place, as you mentioned, to own a swimming pool company and help people with their swimming pools here in DFW. So we're really, really excited.
Yeah, you mentioned help people with their swimming pools. What's that process like? You know, it's we owned a pool growing up, but my parents had their own swimming pool maintenance company called my brother and myself.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for them, you know, we were new pool owners at one point, right? We moved from a house that didn't have a pool to a house that did have a pool. I was in charge of taking care of said pool. Didn't realize that in the months you don't swim in the pool, you still got to chlorinate it. Right. So at one point I turned our pool green.
Oh, of course. Always
parents were not happy.
It
looked like a swamp. They went out of town for a week and they came back to a swamp in the backyard.
Right.
So for those of us who, you know, that happens, you move into a house with a swimming pool that you didn't have. What's that process like? How do you adapt to being a pool owner?
That's a great question, and one of the things that we really pride ourselves on at ASP of Arlington is doing a proper assessment when we get a call or we make calls to folks that have an interest in our services or just want to know more about their swimming pools. One of the things that we do is to go out, do a full assessment on their pool and their equipment, and then we also educate our customers on swimming pools, because to your point, there are a lot of folks that didn't have a swimming pool before and now they have a pool and they're like, what do I do? And so we give them a pool school. We teach them about maintaining the pool, even though we'll be maintaining it for them. But we want them to know what a pump is, how to cut it on, you know, what type of filter do you have, all of that stuff. And some of the things to not turn your pool green. We want to teach them that as well, because we're in their pool 1 day a week typically. We come out and do weekly maintenance. So those other 6 days, we want our customers to know, or to be savvy enough to know, okay, there's a rainstorm coming, and my pool company doesn't come out until, you know, 3 days down the line. So we want them to know to put shock in it or whatever. We want them to know how to maintain it in our absence. So we do educate our customers as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned how some of that equipment works too. Again, new pool owners, you know, you pull a lever one way, next thing you know, you flood your backyard, your neighbor's backyard, you look over the fence, the dog's all muddy, you have to go apologize. Not saying that happened from personal experience, it was my dad, but, you know, things like that can happen. So to be able to have someone come out and say, don't touch this.
That's right.
That's needed for some of those people.
That's right. And one of the great things about our company is we are a one-stop shop, ASP of Arlington. We're a one-stop shop. We will come out and maintain or clean your pool. We will service your equipment. It will take care of any repairs that you have, install new pumps, filters, all of that good stuff. And we'll even do renovations. We do renovations. So if you want to replaster your pool, you want to install new tile, you want to do new decking, put in an outdoor kitchen, all of that good stuff. We are capable of doing that at ASP.
And that's really important too, because I go back to the pool we moved into. You know, it was an older house.
Yes.
The pool was probably built in the 70s. At some point, you need to go in and put a new surface in. Number one, technology is different. There's a much more comfortable surface out there. But number two, it wears off. After use and literally being out in the Texas sun over a period of time,
right.
You need to take care of your investment.
That's exactly right. So you're right. So the sun coupled with all the chemicals, those plaster jobs, they wear down. So industry standards states that you need a new plaster job every 8 to 10 years at the most. And so we go out and we assess that, and we educate our customers on that type of service as well.
So were you a pool owner before you got into this business, or were you just someone who enjoyed doing local laps at the Y? What was your interest in swimming?
So that's another good question. The most that I knew for the most part was swimming in the pool and laying by the pool. So
sure.
that was my area of expertise in terms of pools. But several years ago, when I engaged in this company, I went to pool school and learned everything that I could learn from the pros at ASP. So, and I continue to learn. We have a great support system. There's several of other ASP franchises in the DFW area. We work with each other, we partner, and so it's just a great business, especially in this area.
You mentioned partnering, and one of the reasons you're on here today is our exciting ability to partner with you guys to take care of our pool.
That's right.
Out there in the outfield, and it's so nice to be able to know that our pool is perfect and ready to go literally every time someone wants to use it. One of the things you mentioned earlier was the chemical you called shock, right? Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. A lot of people may not realize, you don't get in the water for 24 hours after you do stuff like that. At least that's how it was when we were younger. When it comes to those chemicals and things like that, how often do they change? What was done when I was a kid to keep your pool clean? What are they doing now? A lot of people go to salt water. How are those chemicals changing in today's pool world?
Well, the technology is everlasting changing in anything, right? And the same with the pool industry. So we have chemicals now. So when you were growing up, maybe it was a 24-hour wait. Mm-hmm. Today it could be a 6-hour wait, 8-hour wait. As long as the pool is circulating the way it should be, you're safe to swim in the pool shortly after it's been maintained. Now, of course, that depends on, I guess, the condition of the pool before it was maintained.
Sure.
But if this was just a regular standard maintenance visit, you're fine to swim shortly thereafter. You ask about the salt pools. Yes, a lot of folks are going to salt cell systems, which is great. It's a matter of preference. There's not one that's better than the other. Some folks like the way that the salt feels on their skin. It's smoother, and then you may not use as much chlorine in a salt pool because the salt actually generates chlorine in that system. But there's a lot of customers that still like the contemporary chlorine style pools. So it's a matter of preference for the most part.
So this might be a random question, it might not. In a lot of movies you've seen, someone does something in the pool and then a certain color kind of flows around them to identify them as the perpetrator. Is that a real chemical? If someone pees in your pool, can you put a chemical in to make them feel a little embarrassed about doing it?
You can.
All right.
That does exist.
There we go, people.
But we find that a lot of our commercial clients don't necessarily use that per se.
Oh, I'd like to do that like in a backyard scenario.
In a backyard pool,
someone's peeing in my backyard pool. I want to single them out.
Exactly. No, that is in existence. But again, that's a matter of preference. If
do you get some home people who want that in their pools?
No, not too. No, we don't.
Man.
We don't. You'd be amazed in what the chemicals that are used can kill.
Sure.
So it works pretty darn good. That shock is pretty powerful, which is another word for chlorine. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tangela, we appreciate you coming on. But before we go, I know there are people out there who have swimming pools right now who are thinking, I do not want to lug any more chlorine pucks out to that whatever filter they use. Someone please take care of that for me.
Yes.
What's the best way to get in touch with you if they want you to take over their pool services?
Definitely. You can give us a call at 817-385-9877 or email us at Arlington at asppoolco.com. And also visit our website at asparlington.com.
There we go. And if you're like me and at some point you did turn your pool green, make the call. I could tell you from personal experience, it's a lot more expensive to ungreen your pool than it is to ever keep it from going green. So
that's absolutely
reach
right.
out to ASP as soon as possible, because trust me, you do not want to have a swamp in your backyard. We'll be right back on Hog Heaven after this.